Hey, thank you, everybody. A very, very warm welcome. Ooh, sorry.
You're good. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. I think I had my video on. Yeah, never mind. Welcome, everybody. A very, very warm welcome to this session. I'm going to hand over to Ziad Musa. He is our session chair for the day. And let me just take a moment to read his very fun-filled and short introduction. Ziad calls himself an evaluation enthusiast and a self-proclaimed knight of the Eval Universe Knighthood Order. His first love, now turned legacy, is EvalMina. He is the former president of the IOCE from 2015 to 2017 and the former co-chair of EvalPartners from 2016 to 2018. Currently, he is stewarding LabEval, EvalMina, and the International Evaluation Academy, and he's also a full-time evaluator in post-conflict settings when his voluntary obligations allow. Over to Ziad.
Thank you, Nicola, and warm welcome to everyone. You know, as a knight of the Eval Universe Knighthood Order, I'm going to knight myself. And this is, for those who remember, the EvalPartner USB that was distributed in Chiang Mai when we established EvalPartners back in 2012. I'm looking at the faces. I see Madame Bisgard, Madame Lux, Le Lion de l'Atlas, Ahmed Ben Sheikh. Who else am I looking at who were there at this, Serge Derrick, of course, who were there at this historic moment. And that is what brings us together. So in a sense, EvalPartners is, I would call it the Eval Galaxy. And you know, in the galaxy, you have different constellations. One of the founding constellations is the IOCE, which is the constellation of Vaux-based. We have also the other constellation, the founding constellation, which is UNGA. And then we have offshoots and galaxies, Eval Youth, Eval Indigenous, Eval Gender Plus, Eval SDGs, the Global Parliamentarian Forum for Evaluation. All of these position themselves there. But then the astronauts who study that constellation found out that what brings them together is EvalPartners, is the EvalAgenda. So in my hands, and I think I'm going to take off this stupid background because it's killing all the action. Where is it? No background. Okay. I don't know how to do it. So yeah, EvalAgenda. Okay. It's in my hand, but yeah, it's there. You cannot see it, but you can feel it. It's the DNA that brings this constellation together. And you have also festive moments. One of the festive moments is today. Other festive moments will be announced as we go along. But every time we meet at a national or regional or international conference, we're in festive moments. So I won't take long. I'll hear me talking more and more as we move along. Let me move on to my very good friend, Veronica Felses, for a short message of thanks to the outgoing EvalPartners co-chairs, the great Sylvia Salinas and the amazing Andrea Cook. Well, Veronica joined the Eval family in 2018. I was still there floating around, I remember very well. She served 2 terms as IOCE secretary, and she's a past member of the EvalPartners ExCom, current vice president of the International Evaluation Academy, and very busy in changing the world. Veronica?
Thank you so much, Ziad. I'm very sorry for not putting the camera on. I'm somewhere on the way, and I think that also symbolizes what we have been doing in connecting since pandemic, especially from all parts of the world and all possible circumstances with our wonderful EvalPartners ExCom and IOC ExCom. And I think it's a great honor for me to say big thank you to Andrea and to Sylvia for their co-chairing of IOC and EvalPartners especially. When I think about this time and how much has been accomplished, it's really amazing in comparison to the circumstances in which they worked. I mean, the revolution of voluntary work in organizations like this due to the pandemic, it has changed us and transformed the voluntary work till this day. We lived through, in this Eval family, through personal tragedies, big country level dramas, political big changes, but also global pandemic. And so many things has impacted the world of EvalPartners, whereas at the same time, Sylvia has brought us to strategic plan 2018 to 2020 to the end and set the tone for the development of the new strategic plan. They both helped us to develop the stock taking of EvalAgenda 2020. A stock taking report is available on our website. It was amazing to participate in a VOPA leadership bootcamp, which is one of the biggest successes of IOC, I think, in the history of it. But also in November 2021, if I can remind you, EvalPartners had the UNIC Partnership Forum, which was first ever forum of this sort. And we were very much energized by this. At the same time, I think IOC and EvalPartners has been visible in many different regional and country level conferences and events, and that has fruition in the Evidence Matters flagship program, which helped us also to lead to the new resolution on country-led evaluation of the SDGs. So we were very much excited when in April 2023 resolution was adopted by the UNGA without a vote. At the same time, in January, EvalPartners has adopted its new exciting strategic plan until 2030. And that's how we are. We are here to discuss the EvalAgenda. And we were led through those years with a wonderful, mild, kind, and so engaged hearts of Sylvia and Andrea through big, big milestones. So once again, big thank you to them and their co-chairing and leadership skills.
Thank you, Veronica. Definitely, Sylvia and Andrea together would form a great and amazing team, and we've seen the achievements over the last period. Now, time to introduce the new chairs. as the EvalPartners journey goes on. It gives me the immense pleasure to introduce Mr. Masa Igarashi, who is currently the Director of Evaluation at WHO. Before that, he was at FAO. Before that, Evaluation Advisor at UNDP, Chief of the Evaluation and Planning Section at UNCTAD, and an evaluation enthusiast. Masa?
Hi, thank you, Zaid. It's good to see you alive and kicking. Yeah, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, colleagues. It is a great pleasure to be with you at this session of EvalAgenda 2030 Global Collaboration for Common Agenda. What an honor to attend this session for the first time in my capacity as co-chair of EvalPartners. So let me introduce myself again briefly. I'm Masa Igarashi, and I'm also the Director of Evaluation of the World Health Organization currently. EvalPartners, as you know, is an innovative partnership between the WFPs, the UN, the governments, parliamentarians, civil society organizations, and development banks, academia, and others. It has advanced the international agenda for evaluation, the EvalAgenda, since 2012 by promoting the need for and the use of evaluation among policymakers and the general public, and by encouraging a broad range of partners and actors to join forces in creating a platform for evaluation capacity development, particularly for national evaluation capacities. The evaluation landscape since 2012 has changed, and our panelists will discuss this topic in more detail today. We believe, however, the 4 pillars of the EvalAgenda remain relevant for all actors in the evaluation ecosystem. 1, to build individual capacities. 2, to build institutional capacities. 3, to create an enabling environment for evaluation. And 4, to establish interlinkages across these dimensions. 2 years ago, under the leadership of the previous co-chairs, Andrea and Sylvia, EvalPartners conducted a stock-taking exercise of the EvalAgenda. It was interesting to see that in this exercise, many colleagues considered significant progress was made in the first 3 pillars of the EvalAgenda, while they saw the progress in the 4th pillar was lagging behind, that is, in creating strong interlinkages between these 3 dimensions. So what does this suggest? I think it speaks to the role and the relevance of EvalPartners as we move towards 2030. The new EvalPartners strategic plan, 2023 to 2030, adopted just this January, identified 4 strategies to achieve our own mission and vision, which are: first, EvalPartners lead on stimulating evaluation reach, recognition, and use. Number 2, EvalPartners connects diverse actors in evaluation. Number 3, EvalPartners collaborates on action to address evaluation priorities. And number 4, EvalPartners communicates on evaluation sector learning. In short, we will offer a platform for the wide range of stakeholders to connect, convene, and collaborate, and be convinced that evaluation will help us create a wiser, more equitable, and sustainable world. When I joined EvalPartners as co-chair, I wrote the following message: for demand-driven evaluations to work, we need them to be inclusive, participatory, and cultivating stakeholder buy-in. We need to convince people that evaluations could help them address the issues they face. And we need to promote such an understanding among those who are not evaluators. Which brings me to my last point. Once we break down the silos and having all partners to connect, convene, and collaborate, we could advance on our agenda and broaden the use and the users of evaluation. The new UN General Assembly resolution calling for country-led evaluation to strengthen the voluntary national reviews provides a golden opportunity for us to engage with key players, the governments and development partners, and convene important actors, civil society, academia, and of course, our evaluation colleagues and networks to achieve this. We will hear a bit more about this initiative in a moment, and through the 5 evaluation networks, EvalYouth, EvalGender, EvalSDGs, EvalIndigenous, and Global Parliamentary Forum, EvalPartners will continue to bring out the value, VALUE, in evaluation, as we can expand the horizon of what evaluation can do to create a wiser, more equitable, sustainable world for us all. Thank you. And with that, I hand back to our session to moderator, Ziad. Thanks.
Thank you, Masa, and welcome to the big family. As you know, EvalPartners is run by 2 main colleges or bodies. We have UNEG and we have the IOCE. And speaking on behalf of IOCE, Mr. Alfredo Dominguez, and I can tell you, Alfredo, my friend, that tough moments are coming ahead. So buckle up your seat belts and let's go into this adventure. Alfredo?
Thank you, Ziad. Hi, everyone. I want to take a minute to briefly reflect on the road traveled and the challenge we still face in the field of evaluation from IOC, taking the evaluation agenda as reference. It's important to remember that the EvalAgenda emerged as a roadmap to the Vision 2020, which was that evaluation becomes an integral part of the government, civil society, and private sector to improve the lives and conditions of all citizens, reminding us the importance of the integrated evaluation as fundamental pillar for the development as a tool to contribute to improving the lives and conditions of all citizens. This vision adopted a systematic approach, recognizing that evaluation capacity development should be addressed at 3 levels: individual, organizational, and enabled environment. We understood that the importance of training skills and capacities at personal level, fostering organizational environment conducive to evaluation, and promoting networking among stakeholders. However, at the time that the launch of the EvalAgenda 2020, we realized that evaluation had yet to reach its full potential and have yet to be widely adopted and used by government, civil society, and the private sector, and another development organization. In this context, BOPI has emerged as a key player in promoting the EvalAgenda. Our role is fundamental to strengthen the environment and developing the necessary capacities among our members and partners. We will collaborate closely with other stakeholders, focusing on the evaluation culture, the design of evaluation policies, and the promotion of the creation and efficient evaluation system and their appropriate use. To achieve these priorities and objectives of the global evaluation community, we must ensure that evaluation remains relevant and in a constantly changing and uncertain operating environment. This means paying particular attention to generating evidences and information that contributes to reduce inequities and support the achievement of sustainable development goals and human rights. We recognize social, ecological diversity and complexity and are committed to address it holistically. The evaluation must be integrated into changes process, fostering the evaluation thinking that enables society expect transformations. Further, we must take advantage of the opportunity to provide technical solutions advancing the EvalAgenda and new tools and technologies to allow the collect and analyze data for more efficiently providing value information for informed decision making. Together, as Committee of Evaluation Community, we will work toward a sustainable and prosperous future in the next agenda, and we must contribute to building a world where evaluation is a powerful tool to drive positive changes and improve the life of the people. And let us move our unit and our mission. Thank you. And Masa and Ziad, thanks. The floor is yours now.
Thank you, Alfredo. Lovely, and looking forward to the road ahead.
Yeah.
Next on my list is Ms. Sara Farina. Probably you've received emails at odd days and at odd hours of the day about Sarah inciting everyone, let's join forces, let's pass on this resolution, do some lobbying, tell me where do we stand, give me contacts, etc. And it really paid off. So Sarah, a big thanks for all your efforts, and the floor is yours to tell us more about what to expect, where do we stand, and how do we go ahead.
Thank you so much, Ziad, and thank you, everyone. I know most of you here have been part of the process, so a great thanks to all of you. Sorry, I'm just having some trouble with the presentation. There we go. So I'm so pleased and thrilled to announce that this resolution has been adopted. This is thanks to everyone here and to so many more people. There were a number of catalytic milestones that I wanted to go over. We started out with a resolution in 2014, and this was a UN-led resolution. And we have then followed through so many things. As Veronica said, we're in a changing world, and we've really experienced those things in different ways, starting with the announcement and the endorsement of the 2030 agenda, through discussions about what country-led evaluations might look like. And through those discussions that have taken place over the years, we've now come to the point of having a country-led resolution, which is really focused on implementation and use of evaluation. So this is something that I think many of the people involved over all of these years have dreamed of, but I think this is a major achievement on behalf of those who are part of it currently and those who are part of that dream. So I wanted to share a brief clip from the event, and I think Nicola actually will be able to do that.
Sorry.
I have a feeling this might be complicated.
Yes.
Okay.
I think so, because, yeah, no, I think I will post it in the chat. I will post the link in the chat to the adoption where people can find it.
Okay, yeah, fantastic. Thank you. It's sort of this exciting moment for those of us who are part of it, because up until the very last moment, we were sort of nervous and thinking, you know, can this go through? Do we have the support of everyone? This is something where it's not only civil society who's been advocating for this, but we're you know, it's involving UN agencies and countries, and so it was actually really symbolic when we look at the co-sponsors. How many countries actually came forward and said, we actually want to use and consider evaluation in the work that we're doing and to help promote the Sustainable Development Goals. So you can see here that this initiative, which was led by Nigeria and was co-sponsored by so many countries, and we will get to this in the acknowledgements, but so many of you who are involved in really advocating for the support within this, especially some of the VOPs who are here and many of the institutions that work with evaluation. So we can really see the enormity of how many actual countries through their governments came forward to support this. So we just want to talk briefly about what this means. I mean, we hear some of this language, but I think when we think about what this means for evaluation, this is really quite significant. This is talking about putting countries in the driver's seat to use evidence and strengthen their national SDG policies and programs. So this is going well beyond sort of saying that, you know, we might consider evaluation. This is actually thinking that we might have that evidence to be able to use to make decisions. This also clearly articulates the value add of country-led evaluation in the context of the existing resolution. So as I mentioned, that first resolution really focused on capacity building, and I think that we can see that it's really paid off when we look at the interest now of countries who actually want to be able to implement evaluation and the support and the incredible influence of those who have been doing that. It also ensures that UN agencies, when requested, will prioritize their support for country-led evaluations. And so many of you here who are representing UN organizations or affiliated organizations can, I think, see a lot of potential for this, where there would be a lot of ability to focus now institutional support on evaluation and especially supporting country-led evaluation. So there are a couple of things in the resolution that we think are especially important. So the first one being that it encourages member states to present regular voluntary national reviews with a country-led evaluation component. And this is a real strength of the resolution. And this actually came from some of the countries who said, we don't understand the difference. We think the voluntary national reviews are actually evaluation, but it turns out that there's a value add in that. And we, I think, thank everyone who is part of articulating that. So now they're looking at actually having all VNRs, which many countries do present, to have that country-led component. So that's a huge strength and a huge opportunity for everyone who's involved in evaluation. We also know that it does help to ensure that no one is left behind. So it really does look at that equity lens. And we think the many groups who've helped to talk about that. So for example, EvalGender Plus was really instrumental in helping to understand the aspects that would be important for gender. It also encourages all member states to use evidence from evaluations for their sustainable their development goals for decision-making and reporting. And then it requests the UN agencies, as we've said, to provide that support. So these are things that we are so proud of and so thrilled with. So thank you so much, everyone. Looking forward to hearing all the other progress that we've had in the world of evaluation. And thanks again to everyone who supported this.
Thank you, Sarah. And once again, kudos for the effort that was done. Not only the effort, but also the participatory and inclusive way you have led that effort by bringing always VOPEs in the picture. And when I look at the 24 countries, I have two comments. First one, we all remember the first resolution that led to declaring 2015 International Year of Evaluation. We seldom had 7 countries endorsing it, including some small island states that joined at the very last minute. So now seeing all of this cohort willingly embracing this is an amazing thing by itself. The second one, and I hope nobody can contradict me, we're still in the global evaluation movement primarily led by the global south. So I was looking for an OECD country or for a North American country or what have you among the list of signatories. They are, most of them, global south, developing countries, plus the BRICS. Already having some of the BRICS in the picture is an achievement, but I think we should continue in that effort. So when I hear about decolonization, well, global south is colonizing, let the global north follow. Anyway, Global Agenda 2020. My God, what an amazing document I have. And I see on the participant list many of the amazing people who co-authored this piece of work. And I'm genuinely interested to hear their voices as we move along. We're going to use the next hour to discuss the follow-up to EvalAgenda 2020 by a group of dedicated individuals who are, I think, working tirelessly to bring that effort together. We've introduced Veronica and Sarah. We also have Denis Jobin, Gabriela Renteira Flores, Chandra Canal, Qasim Sadiq, and Serge Eric Yako, who would be our panelists. I will not use the classical intro lines, but I would ask the panelists when they first take the floor to introduce a bit who they are and the network they represent, and then move on to the question. So my first question to the panelists and then to the entire attendees is, when this beautiful document came together in 2015, MDGs were ending, SDGs were starting, we were really excited. We had the 15 years horizon in front of us, so we could allow ourselves to sit and dream. And the essence of that dream came into that beautiful document. If we look back from 2015 until now, how did the landscape change since 2015, and how can EvalPartners as a galaxy of different constellations, take advantage of this. So can I ask Denis to first take the floor, please?
Thank you, Zayad. I was hoping to be the last, but it's okay. I'm fine. So, Denis Jobin, Senior Evaluation Specialist, Evaluation Office, New York. Current co-chair of Eval SDG, former vice president of IDs. As many knows me, I've been spending several years, 8 years in Nigeria, supporting the country-led evaluation system and process there. And I've been at the very beginning. Well, at some point in the process, it took a couple of decades. So so thank you. But well, the question, I mean, there's this document. So I have some reflection that I've made, Zayad, and the question that were framed for us is how the landscape change and how EvalPartners can remain relevant. And of course, I've been privy to some exercise that have been done, the stock exercise, the strategic plan, the EvalAgenda, and I've seen some of the good work and good ideas, but some of the challenge we face. First, I recall when we were engaging to get a vision, a common vision. We have the advantage of a broad base of partner, which lead us to have multiple vision, competing vision. So this is something that I felt that is something that we need to further work on, to clarify this vision and to come up with sharper, maybe priorities in the context of the landscape as well. What the landscape has changed. I know I only have a few minutes. So how do we remain relevant? Okay, you asked already before, Zayad, so I'm going to quote you, relevant to whom? So we need to be relevant. Who are our clients? So I fully agree with the vision you were sharing. And who is our ultimate client? What difference we want to make? So maybe it's come to the vision as well. Coming from a capacity development perspective, I always favor youth professionalization and development of individual and external capacities. So I think these are the important priorities that we need to pursue. We need to continue to pursue. On the resolution, I want to say kudos to everybody because it's a great work, and I think it's an achievement. However, when I have my evaluation hat, I always ask myself, what more can be done, or what else can have been done differently? So a few observations on the resolution, and we can further discuss. First, the focus is on national voluntary review, is not necessarily on country-led evaluation. Okay, so yes, country-led evaluation is to strengthen the VNR. So that is one thing. Second is country-led evaluation in the context of VNR. There are evaluations that can contribute to the day-to-day management of government, and this is why maybe the second observation is, why are we not also focusing on country-led evaluation system? Okay, so your point about and I'm going to conclude there. Your point about the Global South and the Global North. The Global North evaluation is part of modern public management. In my observation, it's a function of government. It's not something that is pushed by donor or external. So I think the vision for the Global South is to strengthen the government system and have a modern, where the evaluation function thrive and connect with the planning and the management function as part of governing country-led government process, right? So that was the two observations on this one. So I think I'm done with my 2 minutes. Over.
Thank you. Yeah, fully done. And then obviously you've done some good work in Nigeria. Nigeria championed the resolution. So yeah. Sarah, would you like to kind of give in your comments and partially respond to them?
Yeah, thank you, Ziad. Well, I think I've said a lot, but it really was a huge shift when we look at that UN resolution focused on capacity building. And that was a UN-led resolution in 2014. And now we're looking at countries leading, and we're looking at implementation and using evaluation. So that's a big shift. That means we're ready, we're doing it. So that's I think, a huge exciting thing. The other thing is the broader partnerships that we had as part of, for example, the task force for the UN resolution, but we see that as well throughout the ecosystem. So as we were doing for the EvalAgenda, the review, we found that there were all these organizations that exist now that didn't before. So there's a huge amount of excitement in all the different things happening in the ecosystem. And as it becomes more robust, it becomes more complicated, it becomes more challenging, but I think that's also the opportunity and where really the excitement lies. I think we've also seen an increase in the role of VOPIs. So the VOPIs have always been around, but I think they're more and more, they're collaborating. There are incredible resources like the boot camp. So I think we're seeing that VOPIs are taking a greater role, and not only in the capacity building within the evaluation community, but as we saw with the UN resolution and many of the VOPI representatives here, we know that you were there, we know you were advocating, we know that you actually have influence in your own governments, and some of those were really instrumental in bringing forward that resolution. So I think that influence and the role of VOPIs is huge. And then as far as the agenda and the resolution, we see that this is reinforcing the role of EvalPartners as a convener. So we know that EvalPartners doesn't do everything, but it's proudly watching the ecosystem grow. So from my perspective, I see a lot of momentum, and I think we can all contribute in our own ways. So let's keep working, let's keep collaborating. And I think that's really the foundation of what we'll see ahead.
Thank you, guys. Learn. These are 2 minutes on the dot. So for all the panelists, get me there. Who's next? Serge Eric, from your perspective.
Thank you, Ziad. It's always good to see you leading sections and then bring in a lot of smile. Colleagues, good morning again. Serge Yakudian from Cameroon. Yes, indeed, we have been there at the beginning, but since 2020, you know, I'm the co-chair of EvalEngineers with my colleagues. Fiona, she couldn't make it, given the timeline with New Zealand, so it's very early. Maybe to be struck on the way, at the EvalEngineers who come in as the last baby of EvalPartners. I think the baby is running, but what's changed? You know, we are supporting and really defending what we can call self-determination and self-governance of people. And then this can also be linked to what we call the country-led and country-owned evaluations. And because at the country level, we see this case for Nigeria having this resolution be adopted, it's a good shift ahead. But most importantly, at the EvalEngineers, we have grown a lot because we are the umbrella, worldwide umbrella of indigenous evaluation works and indigenous people globally. Today, we are happy to cover the 4 continents, Asia, Africa, Central and South America, and with a strong partnership, not yet confirmed yet, but a strong collaboration with the CS in Canada, and even including with the upcoming conference in the 2-3 weeks in Quebec. So we have a strong linkage in this conference and a strong participations. But in the meantime, we have been able now to bring EvalEngineers on the other fronts with, let's say, middle-term grants with the FAR foundations to support ingenuity and then connection and collaborations in evaluation so that the voice of those vulnerable people could be heard, so that we could be able to support at the policy level and bring in, you know, key features and also not challenging, but also complementing the LC criteria, because most of it, as you know, those criteria have been there at the beginning to monitor the fund from the grants. The initial one, the first one was the World Bank. But today, with our work, we'll be able to support and defend that other criteria like external and internal inclusion criteria will be incorporated. And then so that we know we improve and then we get the way longs. Yes, indeed, the way is still long, and then I agree, we still have 2 minutes to do. That's why with the upcoming Global Forum for Evaluations, so more information, so more achievement have to be shared again. I'll be able to now to support strongly. Always be there with EvalPartners, and then that will be our journey. Over to you, Ziad.
Merci, monsieur. Serge-Eric mentioned Canada and the Global Evaluation Forum, so I can't recognize the background behind Qasim. I don't know if he's in Beirut or in Canada, but the floor is yours.
Well, currently I'm in Beirut and I'll be moving. Well, yesterday I landed for the whole week and then to another city before I go back to the capital, to Ottawa. Thank you, Ziad, and thank you for for everyone. Definitely, I'm delighted to be part of this discussion and triggering a bit of reflection here. For those who don't know me, a couple of hats, but the latest is founder and co-chair of Eval SDGs, and soon will be leaving Eval SDG for new leadership to join the new and the team. And founding member of LabEval, Eval MENA, and advising on a couple of fronts within the consulting green, one of which is the recent 360 consulting. The question is very intriguing, and let me make use of these 2 minutes in providing the following. The landscape is evolving definitely with a lot of actors and powerful actors and resourceful actors who are capturing the attention of so many of partners. I don't know whether it's at the disadvantage or at the expense of EvalPartners, but definitely there are actors who are capturing the attention of a lot of partners. Some of them are specialized, others are earning authority in this universe or cosmos. I can speak to ideas bystanding status within the cosmos, the Evaluation Academy that's earning authority, the GII that's capturing attention, EvalPartners, the Galaxy, IOCE, and other regional VOPEs and national VOPEs. But I think the Galaxy with all those stars should remain. For us, for the EvalPartner to remain shining, I believe, and should be at the center of this cosmos, there are a couple of requirements that we need to attend and address. The key among them are internal housekeeping stuff that we need to tweak. We need to enhance the working modality and capitalize on the achievements in order to amplify the outcome. And I would speak to a lot of the findings of the evaluation that was done lately on EvalPartners that we think, and I believe that it needs to be the collaboration between the intra EvalPartners networks should be more or less, we should manage it better in order to amplify that outcome. There are a lot of potentials. The second aspect relating to leverage partnerships. We've been so far, but I think with the COVID, with the other pressing challenges, it seems that finding the right partners or probably attracting partners to our agendas the current one seems to be a bit challenging given the context, but there is room, and we need to leverage on the convening power of EvalPartners, capitalizing on the latest resolution. A third one is literally walking the talk in terms of supporting the national capacity building, both at the level of the national counterparts, let alone the professionalization and the VOPE. And the fourth, which is again important, is basically our mandate. EvalPartners' mandate is empowering VOPEs through the different learning and sharing and support and what have you. And the final, I would say, and this is something that has been always undermined, is building alliances beyond the converters. And there are huge room for collaboration and alliance with the global CSOs. We often fail to connect to CSOs who are active in the field and even much more active. But for some weird reason, we always look inwards into the evaluation community. Well, guess what? The development, humanitarian, and other communities have a wealth of potential collaboration and partnership that we need to leverage. I can speak to a couple of them, but I do respect the time, and I leave it for probably the discussion with the members.
Thank you, Qasim. Well, you're talking about expanding the pool of usual suspects, and I think the onset of Eval Youth was a foundational moment in expanding, democratizing, rejuvenating the profession and EvalPartners. So, Gabriela, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Ziad. As many of you know, like my name is Gabriela, and I'm the current chair of Eval Youth Global Network. Unfortunately, I was not there at the beginning, but I recognize that there has been like a lot of changes, as my colleagues have just shared. One of them, and like I would like to speak from the young and emerging evaluators perspective, was like this recognition that, and many other of the networks, is that there's a recognition to include other voices. And actually, I think the EvalPartners has been really successful in doing so, and including other voices, other perspectives. And this is still relevant for EvalPartners to keep on that, to keep on working on this inclusion, like to bring. It is very important for EvalPartners to address the issues of equity, diversity, and social justice, and it has been doing so, and it has been successful. And I think still there's a lot of work to do. For instance, for example, in the young and emerging evaluators, there has been a recognition. What is a YI? Now everybody knows what is a YI. Before, I'm not sure, but now, like, we need to keep working. We need to keep transmitting that message, convening actors, convening different collaborations, and to really push for an inclusion of as a cross-cutting team. Sarah just mentioned it, how EvalGender was instrumental for the resolution. We should keep doing it. We should keep embracing that sense of intersectionality to making this as a cross-cutting theme. And finally, I would like to mention that EvalPartners has been instrumental in creating a greater knowledge and understanding of the evaluation culture, but more than just asking it's just more than asking the right questions. It is also asking about to different people, to the right people. So let's just keep opening up those opportunities for others to participate and to make this a more inclusive profession. I think I just had 2 minutes, so I will leave it there.
Amazing. I love the more than asking the right questions. But can I just challenge you a bit more, because I know that you cannot stay for the entire session, on what can be done from an EvalYouth perspective for EvalPartners to remain relevant and for the next global evaluation agenda to be inclusive on that side as well?
I actually would like to mention something that we just did on this gLOCAL week. It was, so we are evaluators, but we need to listen also to others that challenge ourselves, right? So why don't we start opening up spaces to talk to other activists? For example, we did during this gLOCAL week, a dialogue between climate change activist that is like from a non-evaluator, but really made us uncomfortable on how to think on things, and really made us think we should be establishing a common ground so that we can understand better, but we also can communicate better with others. So that if we want evaluations, for example, or evaluation evidence to be used, then we need to learn how to pose it, right, to other actors. So it is about including other perspectives from evaluators, but also I think to really open up the discussion and to really foster the knowledge of the evaluation culture within other and the other actors to really understand what evaluations, how it can be used. And yeah, thank you, Ziad.
Gracias, madam. Ram, let's move to you from the, I would say, national perspective. What does EvalPartners mean? I mean, to us, Nepal means a lot because it was kind of where all the networks, including EvalYouth and EvalGender, were launched. So please, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Jian. My name is Ram. I'm from Nepal, and I I surveyed the earlier surveyed the president of Community of Evaluators, and I was also founding member of Community of Evaluators in South Asia. I have been engaged with this EvalPartners initiative from 2015. Just to try to make some of the my understanding from the national point of view is once we have EvalPartners, there are lots of changes. Initially, that we also receive some support from EvalPartners as well, and from that initiative as well as from others, other ongoing initiatives. That what we realize is there has been a lot of change, a lot of improvement in understanding what is evaluation, how to do this, and the systems, this culture, and kind of things. But what we also realize is actually this is not something is adequate. We have some policies, guidelines, and legal mechanism is also being developed. But still, there are lots of things we need to do, especially from the national government side. And we also realize that there is also demand side, supply side weakness also, or the inadequate capacity, and this carrying out evaluations. There are inadequate evaluators and those kind of things. Even the evaluators are not, they do not have adequate capacity. This is what that we realize in Nepal. And I think that more or less that I also work with other countries also for different reasons, and I also feel in the same way. In terms of change in the landscape, that what we realize that during our interaction with the different type of evaluators in Nepal and other commissioning agencies, that we certainly need context-driven evaluation. There are lots of talk about this homogenizations of the evaluator, this professional colonization, and those kind of things. The cultural issues, though, there are a lot of issues are coming up, and the stakeholders are now realize that okay, we need kind of evaluation that is context specific, and the localization is very, very important in evaluation. This is what that the change has been noted. The other thing is the co-creation of the evaluation knowledge. There are lots of issues related to methodologies also. Some people talk about RCT, some people about participatory evaluation. I don't want to go in detail, but until and unless the developing countries like Nepal or other developing countries, if we do not have participatory evaluation system, then how we define effectiveness, how we define impact, and who designed the evaluation, whose questions. There are so many questions. I don't want to go in detail. That kind of learning is also coming up very strongly. Other thing is these complexities and intersectoral issues, like we have earthquake, and we all suffered from COVID, and there are lots of this climate change and other things. Then how to integrate those kind of issues in evaluations and actually bring the lesson from the evaluation is quite important. This learning has also been clearly noted in our context, and there is also good positive vibe coming up. That the stakeholders, especially the civil society organization and UN organization and international partners are coming up to support the evaluation, but that is also not adequate. That's the country perspective that I can share right now. Thank you.
Thank you for that passionate plea for a more inclusive process. I know Veronica has appeared on cam as well. Amazing. So Veronica, her middle name is Mrs. Transformation. So Mrs. Transformation, 2 minutes.
Let's say that the International Evaluation Academy definitely wants to tackle the issue of transformation, but as Kasim rightly said, we're still trying to gain the respect in that field and do it somehow together. I think lots of important points were raised, and Kassem keeps on writing also on chat really important points that are extremely relevant. So I hope both chat and the recording will be available later. But I think what EvalPartners has shown is that we keep on being relevant, and many initiatives, ideas, and projects of EvalPartners throughout the years has proven to be those visionary ideas that created the ring on the lake once they were dropped. And I think that is a beautiful thing, and that keeps our relevance so very on the pedestal for all other organizations that are starting. So I think the respect towards EvalPartners is very high, and I'm very happy about that. But I think what is important also, what we are discussing here, is that EvalAgenda was helping us to find the common language and find ourselves on the same page all across the globe. And I think that really helped us. But throughout the last years, you can also see that there has been many initiatives and many documents speaking more about how evaluators need to get out only of their own world and connect us as evaluators and also those who are taking care of how we look at things, how we value different initiatives, policies, and projects. How do we connect to those bigger global crises and regional crises? How do we deal with that? So also teaching evaluators to speak the language of transformation. And I very much hope and I very much believe that EvalPartners is the actor that can be doing that, exactly because it's so very visionary.
Thank you, Veronica. May I ask also some contributions from fellow dinosaurs who were there when that document came into existence? I see some of them in there. So like fellow dinosaurs or new kids on the block, I'm happy that, I mean, there was a point we knew everybody who was attending webinars. Now I can say, I don't know half of those who are attending. So there's progression in that. Maybe just if you can make a show of hands. Jennifer Biscard, who else? Please go ahead. We can take two to three contributions. Jennifer, first tell us who you are and why do you classify as a dinosaur?
Why I qualify as a dinosaur? Fantastic. My name is Jennifer Biscard. I was on the AFRIA board and then on the EvalPartners Management Committee. I was there as part of the whole passing the torch and getting South Africa to sign the UN resolution. I'm based in Johannesburg. Then I was just an evaluator running an evaluation company. Now I'm on the impact team for the MasterCard Foundation, which is the third largest foundation in the world. And I'm very interested in what's going to be happening and how this UN resolution can be embodied, especially in sub-Saharan Africa, which is our geographic focus. And so I'm looking forward to collaborating with you all again. Very exciting. And yeah, I'll stop there.
Yeah, I swear we'll take a corporate decision to scratch Visa and all use MasterCard if you give us some subsequent funding. And that's a plea in the name of everybody attending here. Thank you, Jennifer.
We're not part of the MasterCard Corporation. We're completely independent. Just saying. Okay, thanks.
Good. Somebody else, just raise your hand, take the floor, tell us what has changed in the landscape. How can we remain relevant for you? Well, don't be shy.
Maybe I can come in there just with a question. Is that an answer?
Yes. Go ahead then.
You know, I like to be thought provocative. And correct me if my assumption is wrong. Have we lost or losing some member over the years? And or what are the motivation of some member are partnering, but some are not partnering with us, right? And the other this initiative gLOCAL, GEI, right? So let's call it. And what is it? Why this network formed and was not able to emerge within EvalPartner, which is inclusive, with a wide, broad base, etc., etc. That is the first question. Why are we partnering, and why are we losing? What are the reasons? There's an exit interview, and it's always something that I want. The Leviathan. I don't know if you recall this. Is a partnership can become too big. I mean, not provocative. I don't have the answer. Is it how many is too many?
Yeah.
Right.
Normally, galaxies are quite inclusive, you know, and in the galaxies, sometimes two constituencies collide. Sometimes comes a black hole that expands and expands and pushes others away, and that's the reality of things. Okay, Florence Etta, why you're not speaking? Dorothy Lux, why you're not speaking? I mean, Denis put in some really, I mean, did we get too big? When should we stop? Etc. Dorothy, please.
Hi, sorry, my bandwidth is not very great, so I'm not sure if you'll be able to hear me. I'm in the Caribbean, so a small island looking at some climate change.
For you.
Yeah. Some are Yemen counting that, and you are on an island counting climate change. I mean, life could be unfair. Please. Yeah.
In terms of, I won't go over history, let's look forward. One of the things that I think is really great about the new resolution is the country-led aspect. But I think one thing that we as a community need to be committed to is engaging young and emerging evaluators and diversity of evaluators in actual evaluations. I keep asking organizations to make space for young and emerging evaluators on teams, and it's very difficult to get that sort of agreement from the larger evaluation firms or from the commissioners to make space to actually build experience and capacity. So it's just a small plug in there for those who do commission evaluations for national governments to actually bring young people into and emerging evaluators into real evaluation practice.
Thank you. And echo to this, I mean, it would have been awesome if we had the environmentalists and the feminists and the LGBTQ people and all of them, and the I don't know, the ideas and the ALNAPs. And there are many who have evaluation at the core of their, let's say, work, but who are still not there. And I think if we look back to EvalPartners, so far we've been good at nurturing the VOPE College and the UNIC College increasingly. But there's a third very important college that we call strategic partners. And these strategic partners should come in, should have a voice, should us in this vision. I was reading, it's not because I read too much, but fell on my hand. I don't know if you know this book, Getting to Maybe. So how the world has changed. And as I was cruising along, I found an amazing quote by Václav Havel. Václav Havel is well known, like a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but also well-known author, became the first president of the Czech Republic following the fall of the Iron Wall. And he says that while fighting for democracy, and he was in prison, what seemed almost impossible looking forward, seems almost inevitable looking back. And for those who were in Chiang Mai, and for those who imagine EvalPartners as an inclusive, multidisciplinary, very horizontal platform who can contribute to the advancement of evaluation and then move forward developing the global evaluation agenda and all the good work that follows, I think this is key. But at the same time, as you're all saying, we need to open up. We need not to stop talking to ourselves. We need to embrace developments. Maybe at some point, some WizKids are developing a chat GPT 5.0-eval. You talk in all the reports and all the primary data, and then you press a button and you have a very strong empirically backed evaluation report. So as the team moves on to develop the next version of EvalAgenda, and that should be our second round of discussion, how can we become, or can we stay progressive and contemporary? And most important, and also how can we, through this work, through the combined work of the agenda and the resolution, forward the work of EvalPartners and reinvent its relevance. Just as a highlight, when the first resolution was adopted, we kind of articulated a whole process by declaring 2015 the International Year for Evaluation, by organizing more than 100 events, including about 22 that were directly funded by EvalPartners, during which the key questions of the EvalAgenda were asked, rated, synthesized, and then a team did put them together. We also had an Eval torch. So I had the great Marco Segone moving with the torch from one event to another. So there was a lot of ceremonial, but a lot of real concrete hands-on articulation around it. So just challenging girls and guys on how can we be innovative in articulating the global evaluation agenda with the UN resolution, with the upcoming global evaluation forum. What could spark things? I'll start with the panelists, move to the attendees, and then move to closing in 22 minutes. Let me reshuffle the order. So let me start with you, Ram. How can we do things differently?
Thank you. Thank you. What I realize is EvalPartner. I just try to see the what role EvalPartner can play in EvalAgenda is it's a network driven. There are lots of organizations working on that, and its main agenda is to promote evaluation. That's why it's a good platform. It's a network driven. Another thing is that what I see is it's a volunteer things, and but there are lots of enthusiastic approach, and people, they are trying to make the evaluations lead the process, especially managing the development. That's why the enthusiastic approach taken by EvalPartner is something that I like very much. And through different initiative, through different approach, this network is also becoming very visionary in terms of putting the agenda for the future. Likewise, you were talking about this agenda 2030, and there are lots of other initiatives also ongoing that provides kind of environment, or the something that I think can contribute in the evaluations field building globally. This is what that I see that why EvalPartner is still relevant, and it should promote the evaluation agenda. There are a couple of things probably that we should also review from my own experience, is that probably EvalPartner has missed the how to bridge the between the supply side and demand side. Probably that we should have done a little bit more on that side, but probably that we are not working adequately on that. I totally understand it's a voluntary, it's working on voluntary basis, and there is also resource constraint. And given the new approaches, new ideas, new landscape coming, probably EvalPartners should also have kind of critical assessment on those issues. Like we are talking about the climate change, we are talking about biodiversity erosions, and there are so many issues related to equity, no one left behind issues. Probably that we should also have country-driven case studies and bring that kind of issue. I have noted a lot of case studies, a lot of policy-related issues being done by EvalPartner, but probably those area that I mentioned maybe worth in future. This is what that I see. In terms of related with this UN resolutions and other issues, I think I see a lot of relevancy, a lot of similarities. That's why EvalPartners should continue working on these areas, like the how to support in the ongoing systems and processes at the country level. There are so many issues within that, and how the EvalPartner can support the systematic follow-up and review implementations, data, this country-led evaluation. There are so many issues. Probably we can't detail out right now, but the supporting in the system and processes are very, very important.
We need to close in 22
please.
minutes, so I'll have to be a bit sharper on time. Sergey, no one left behind. What does it mean to you?
Thank you, Ziad. Sometimes when someone is very interested, it's wrong. I have a lot of ideas to share. I understand why it took so long. But anyway, I think my best reference should be the assessment we did time to Dorothy Locke with his team to evaluate the EvalAgenda 2020. So we have a lot of way forward from that evaluations. In the meantime, the new agenda coming in, was built on those challenges. But I can just mention once, that in 2019, we changed the constitution, the governance structure of our partners, from the original ones. And then you see coming again about the need to shift and revise the governance structure of our partners. EvalPartner to be relevant, should go back to its roots, which are the 5 networks. They should give more space to those 5 networks to do the job. And then, as Ran said, the added value of EvalPartner come to where this voluntary work, we are connecting those networks to support evaluation work worldwide. And then EvalPartner also have to get a strong power to interact, because with those partnerships is good indeed, but it should be an advantage for EvalPartner to take those partners, and then bring them on the board and support the issue raised by Dorothy about engaging youth and emerging evaluation strongly. That's very important, because still many players, many international donors, including UNs, still not give so much space to youth. They're still looking about those who are already senior evaluators. Where are we going to bring the youth? So how can we bring them on the board? It's only experts like we, because my work, I'm an evaluation service provider. Always try to say, okay, we have to combine the teams. Someone maybe in Nigeria or in South Sudan when working in the evaluation. These are so 2 key things I can say, which might be very important for we as EvalPartners, to shift and then see how we can look forward to improve our works. Over to you, Ziad.
Thank you, sir. Denis, do you agree on that the agenda should look at resolving problems, or should take a more appreciative pathway by building on strength. And Serge was kind of giving clues on the two sides. We have to solve problems, but we have to capitalize on what we have. What do you think?
Well, it's not a good way. No. It's the challenge of prioritizing what should be done first, and then focus on what is second. Just reflecting upon, take a bit of recul. Country-led evaluation. I mean, I wrote on that 50 years ago. I mean, the Monterey Consensus, the Paris Declaration. I mean, this is not a new story. So why is it emerging again? Professionalization. This is something that I feel that we were very strong 15 years ago, and it was after 5 years silent. So, but these are the things I think they need enduring view. I mean, they must last more than one cycle. It takes a decade. What is the time trajectory for us to make a change? And I think our vision should be, these are enduring questions. What are the enduring issues that will survive time? And in my view, I can't explain myself why it's only Canada and I think Japan who have a professionalization or credentialing program for the right. So why others are not embarking in that journey, and what are we doing about it? That is one. Second, we have very heterogeneous partnership, which is an asset, but is our approach to have majority adherence, a dictatorship of the majority for the priority. These are the 6 priorities, and these are the 3 majority that people vote for. Or we'll have a different model in governance, and I think this is something that was raised in the priorities exercise, that maybe multilateral organizations want to focus on this agenda. I cannot do credential, maybe I'm not a VUP, right? So, but maybe other organizations or partner want to focus on other type of priority, and like this, we're going to complement each other. So, so this is a way that instead of running after many rabbits at the same time, we focus on which one. I'm going to running after, and you or private sector are going to run after each. So that is another way. I had the last point, but I miss it. It will come back when my time.
Okay, we'll earmark 30 seconds for you. And if we had the animalists today, they would say, not for hunting the rabbits, go eat an apple. So we're not running after the rabbit. Sarah, just to complement the UN perspective, what's on the cards?
Well, from my perspective, I think the key is that it's a shared agenda. So I don't think there's a lot of point in telling anyone what to do, how to do it, and we're not trying to do the same thing the same way. So I think it's really important that we articulate the things that are collectively important, and then we're inviting organizations in, what Qasim is calling the evaluation galaxy, to contribute in their own ways. And I think the EvalPartners' role in this really is not only to support that, but also to bring people together to learn from what everybody's doing, because there are diverse approaches. And I think that this is something that we actually have a really big opportunity to share. We have so many aspects of evaluation that need support, including, as we know, making sure that young and emerging evaluators have a role in the process. So there are roles for these sort of existing and the new stars in the galaxy. So this is everything: training, capacity building, commissioning, supporting evaluation, implementing, interpreting evaluation, using it, communicating it about it. And then as Gabby said, also connecting with other actors. So we have lots of opportunities to do that, to learn from and improve. So from my perspective, as we see the ecosystem and this galaxy broadening, we can be creative about how we support those in civil society, government, the UN, private sector, and beyond, to be part of this evolution of evaluation in support of broader goals. So for example, the SDGs.
Thank you. On the broadening the actors base, Qasim, that has been your mantra, keeping in mind that Jennifer is proposing now radical inclusion. I mean, we're going completely radical on the discussion. Yalla.
Well, I don't know, but I think let me probably share a couple of thoughts and allow me to share my screen for 5 slides that I think would probably help us.
5 slides of 10 seconds each, eh? We're closing in 10 minutes.
Deal done. So I think, I don't want to spend too much time. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, and we can see that you need to double click to enter full screen mode.
Yeah, okay. So I don't want to spend too much time on the roadmap and where we were and where it stand, but I think it would be pertinent to remind ourselves that we always to a large extent in a process, and the process that usually culminates and is kicked off at the global forum. And this is a slide that summarizes basically such a process, and this is a way to answer potentially or to avoid answering your question. You would qualify it, but I think the global forum should provide answers to the questions you've raised. So far, we've been capitalizing on the strength of the networks. We've been trying to get more of a partnership. We've been trying to influence decision making at different levels, region and global. We've got the resolution on board. We're developing an agenda. The question remains whether it is EvalPartners agenda or the Eval community agenda. I think what we're missing in a way or another is to identify clearly what the value proposition of EvalPartners, because yes, partners are there and stakeholders are there, but the question is, what are we offering them to attract them? And it's not probably for them to identify what they want from us. It should be a win-win relationship that I think it need to be managed in a sense to provide people with a value proposition that would bring them on board, and that would culminate in the global forum that would discuss all of these issues and then set the tone for the next 2 years. For this year, for this time, we've been probably 4 years since the last global forum, and our theme for 2024 is progressive, leading progressive and contemporary evaluation practice, which is very much in line with the vision. But again, the question, to me at least, is still a bit vague. Is it an Eval agenda for EvalPartners or an Eval agenda for the wider evaluation community? Critically, probably an attempt to answer your question is for us to think of the exploring the challenges on the evaluation paradigm to unpack the different capacities, competencies, and systems that need to be empowered and to reflect on the strategic plan, to reinforce the partnerships around Eval agenda. And probably let me take this opportunity to say that the next Global Evaluation Forum would be hosted by our colleagues in Morocco, in Rabat, hopefully first quarter of 2024. And to move forward there, I would propose kicking off serious discussion streams to prepare for that Global Forum around what we've been all raising so far: internal housekeepings, leveraging partnerships, capacity building, attracting resources, because this is the big elephant in the room. We cannot provide or we cannot walk the talk unless we can attract decent resources and leverage decent partnerships in order to move the Eval agenda forward. And again, explore those different partnerships. And I would call up for everyone of us basically to subscribe to serious discussions around those and other streams of work until we meet for the Global Forum.
Amen. Veronica. You still with us or not? Where, Veronica? Okay.
I am Zayed, but I won't be able to speak now. I'm already on the travel, so I'm trying to listen to very exciting news. Thank you so much, Hakatem, for sharing, and I'm sure we all will be joining on the way to support each other to meet in person and celebrate.
Thank you. Thank you. Any comments from the floor? Ideas, provocative stuff? I couldn't follow the chat as much as I wanted to, but would love to hear from whomever has been attending who wants to contribute her or his 2 cents to the discussion, the time is now. We still have 5 minutes. Alla una, alla due, alla tre. Okay, so you've been enjoying listening. So let me thank everyone who attended this session. I will just read again from that lovely book, Getting to Maybe, Zimmerman, Patton, and who else was it? Wesley, Francis Wesley. Success, as we have said repeatedly, is not a fixed address. We don't arrive there. We may pause there, standing still to reflect on our next move. But if the goal is social transformation, the next step is rarely obvious. I think that, yeah, it's not obvious, but there's a lot of passion, there's a lot of creativity, there's a lot of willingness to move things around, there's a lot of resources, and yeah, there are a lot of people out there whom we still need to reach out. And why do we need to reach out for them? Again, back to my favorite bedtime read, the Global Evaluation Agenda. The agenda for 2020 said back then. However, evaluation has not reached its full potential yet. Despite its success and growing acceptance in many parts of the world, evaluation has not yet been embraced as widely as it should be. And I think a lot of the discussions today were around this. In many organizations and countries, including the Global North, if I was writing it again, I would just point based on the resolution experience, including the Global North. There is an inadequate appreciation of what evaluation is. And how it can help improve on a practical level policy making and program implementation efforts. In revisiting the vision, back then we said, our vision is that evaluation has become so embedded in good governance that there's no policymaker or manager would imagine excluding evaluation from the decision-making toolbox, dare hold an important meeting or reach an important decision without having reviewed relevant evaluation information. Still valid, the road there is still long, but with the convergence of the efforts of everyone in this room and virtual room and outside this virtual room, I'm sure we can take it, we can make it. Thanks a lot, folks, to the panelists, to the attendees. Oh, no. I see that Ahmed Ben Sheikh was welcoming us to Morocco. For those who do not know Ahmed Ben Sheikh, we at EvalMENA take pride that we've built an evaluation movement in there. But before we started in EvalMENA, the Association Marocaine pour l'Évaluation was there since 2008. Morocco is the only Arab country who has evaluation of policies in its constitution since 2011. So rather than me giving the final words, Ben Sheikh, and en français, ou tu... En français ou tu y vas en anglais?
C'est bienvenu, quoi. C'est parfait. On est prêt.
OK.
On est prêt pour 2024.
So we are ready.
Oui, bien sûr. C'est un plaisir de vous recevoir au Maroc d'abord et de travailler avec vous, faire une préparation, une très bonne préparation à ce forum-là, pour que ce soit à la hauteur de vos attentes.
So it's a pleasure to welcome everyone, and we hope that forum will be up to everyone's expectations. Je peux ajouter que, bon, connaissant le Maroc et humblement, EvalMENA, tout le monde derrière, on va faire quelque chose de bien. Knowing Morocco and without false modesty, EvalMENA, we're sure we're going to put together an amazing event. Thanks, everyone.
Merci.
We're arriving to the last minute. We want, before you go, to open up the cameras, everyone, so that we take a group picture. So everyone who's been hiding or WhatsApping or doing extra work while listening to us, it's now or never. Open the cam, Make
I
yourself
forget to shave.
beautiful. I think my hair is not.
I forgot to shave.
I think you have to change the view.
No, please open the cams, guys. KG, Sushila, Louis. Please, ouvrez vos caméras. Open your cameras so that we can see you all and that we can take a group picture, if you don't mind.
Okay, picture taken. Thank you, Ziad.
Thank you.
Picture taken. Okay, so thank you very much. And à la prochaine. See you next time.
Bye.
Thank you,
Au revoir.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for
Bye.
successful
Have a good
session.
day.
Bye-bye.
Bye.